Hello guys, in this tutorial I will show you how to make this wonderful animation with just a free software named Blender. You might have heard of it, but you don't know what it is. Then you should go to blender.org, and if you are familiar with Blender, that's good. And it doesn't matter if you are pro or if you are beginner or maybe you haven't heard of it. So if you haven't heard of Blender, then you should watch some basic Blender tutorial and at least watch some navigation tutorials, because I'm not going to show you how to navigate through Blender, so like zoom in, zoom out, rotate or changing the view, but I'm going to explain each steps I'm doing over here to make this animation. So if you want to follow along, then you're at the right place. I'm Tushar and you're watching Film Tush. Well, select the cube and go to edit mode, or you can press tab to go to edit mode. Then select the face selection and then select the top of the cube and then press E to extrude and then right click and then S to scale and then drag it down, and just like that, and then keep selecting that portion and go to wireframe mode and then just drag it below. So this will be our container, the class container. Well, as you can see, the inside is hollow. So now we need to make some loop cuts, so select that icon and then when you see these lines, just click and drag, and there you have the loop cut. Make sure you add a loop cut on every edge of the cube. Because we are going to use subdivision surface. I think I have added loop cuts everywhere. Now go to object mode and then go to modifier and then select subdivision surface and maybe make the render to 4 and viewport to 4 and then apply. Then shade smooth. Yeah, that looks cool. Press Shift A and then select plane and then select the cube, move it above the red line or x-axis, and you can see the plane just below the cube. So select the plane and then press S to scale it. Make it quite bigger. And also increase the cube a little bit. Move it above the red line. I think this looks cool, or you may increase the plane a little bit just by pressing S and then increase the size. And we need to duplicate the floor, so Shift E to duplicate. So select the plane and then Shift E to duplicate and then press R, then X, then 90. And move it along the y-axis and then move it above. And also again select the floor, then Shift T to duplicate and then press R, then Y and then 90 and move it along the x-axis and move it above. Again Shift T to duplicate, just drag it to the right. Select the light, the lamp, and move it near the camera and make the value around 3500. Well, shift T to duplicate, so duplicate the lamp and move it below the first lamp and make the value around 900. The power is 900. Okay, and shift T to duplicate and place it just at the back of the cube, so it will light the back of the cube, and make it around 500. That's cool. Then go to render mode and you can see the three-way lighting, or you can call it the 3-point lighting. Okay, or maybe you can make that lamp 300, the power 300. You can tweak the value, not a big deal. Okay, it's a good time to save the file so far. So go to file and then save, and then select location you want to save, and then save the Blender file. Just name it and then save the Blender file. Now it's time to add the balls which will fall into the cube. So we'll first make a new collection, so right click and then new collection, or you can name it balls. Press shift A and then mesh and then UV sphere, and drag it above the cube and press S to scale it, and scale it down a little bit because we are going to add too many balls, so it has to be a little bit smaller. So go to subdivision surface and make it 2 and then apply. And well, press shift T to duplicate and then right click and then move it above and move it towards right, yeah, just like that. And again shift T to duplicate, right click and move it above and then place it to the left. So duplicate it for a few times, do the same steps, and then select the 4 balls and then shift T to duplicate and then press G and then Z and then move it above and then press shift R to duplicate the steps. So make as many balls you want to fall into the cube. So the bigger the amount, the more processor power it will take. So make sure you know your computer configuration. So right click on the balls collection and then select objects. So all the balls into that collection will be selected, and shift select a new ball to make it a active selection. Now it's time to add material for the spheres, and so we will add material for the sphere. So basically you have to go to the material tab and add a new material, so principled BSTF, and then go to shading tab and we'll make it a metal. So we'll have to increase the metallic value to 100%, and we will add a clear coat amount to 1 and maybe down the roughness a little bit. That looks cool. Change the color to red or the color you like. So I would select a dark red. So yeah, let's see. So we have a nice metallic material on the ball. Now it's time to add that material to all of the balls. So how to do that? Just press Ctrl L and then select materials. So this way you can add the material, the selected material, to all the existing object. Now it's a good time to save the file so far, because we don't want to lose what we have made so far. So go to file and then save, Well, now we'll add a material for the container. So select the same material, principled BSDF, then go to shading, and then make the transmission value to 1, and we'll have to make this a glass effect, so change the mode to cycle mode so that we can see what we are doing. In the AV mode we can't see the glass effect, so, and also if you have a GPU, so change it to GPU compute, and then on the render tab you can see the material now. So well, select the physics tab and we will add a rigid body setting, so select a sphere and then add a rigid body, change the shape to sphere, right click on the balls and select objects. So all the spheres are selected, as you can see, and press F3 and then type copy and copy rigid body settings, select that one. These were the settings should be added to all the spheres. Now select the container, the glass container, and then add a rigid body, then change the type to passive, and then make the shape to mesh, and the source would be final. Well, it's time to add a rigid body settings to the floor and the walls, so select the floor and then rigid body and then type to passive, again the back wall rigid body, then type to passive. So do the same with the right and left wall, rigid body, then type to passive. Okay, so we are done. Now if we hit spacebar, you can see that the balls are falling inside the container, and few balls are also like on the floor. You can see that the excess balls are on the floor, so it's a nice simulation. And I will show you how to render out the video, and also we will add material for the floor and the walls, so the basic material actually, so that it looks cool and you can see the transparent container this way. Well, it's time to save, so save the file so far, and it looks cool. Now it's time for what? Yeah, it's time for baking. So in the rigid body world, so inside the cache, bake the file. It's very important. So remember, if you have added any simulation, then you should bake the file before rendering the animation. Well, this looks cool so far, and you can see the balls are falling inside the cube. Well, now we will set up the camera for that. Well, don't render it now. We'll set up the camera. So select a nice view, and maybe this looks good. Then press Ctrl, Alt and 0 on your number pad to view it in camera mode, and select the camera and then press Z to move the camera, and middle click to zoom in and zoom out. Now render the image, and well, you can see the image is very noisy, so we can pick some value to make it clean, and go to layers properties and scroll down to bottom, then select denoising, and well, select the cube and then make everything 0 except the sheen tint and the transmission value to, sheen tint to 0.5 and the transmission to 1. Okay, let's see. Now the glass is transparent. This looks cool. Well, now go to render view and you can see the materials. Now it's good time to add materials for the floor and the walls. So in the render view we will add the material so that we can see it properly. So you can add a roughness for the glass. So if you increase it to 1, you can see it's very rough. You barely see the balls inside the glass, and if you make it 0, it's very transparent. Well, in the render view it does not render it properly, so but you can see the result. Okay, now it's good time to add material for the floor and the wall. So select the floor, add a new material for the floor, and you can tweak some value like decreasing the roughness, so you will make it like little bit glossy if you decrease the roughness, and you can change the color if you want to, and well, you can make it a little bit metallic. Like I like a little bit yellow color, so we'll make it yellow. It depends on you. Maybe you can make the floor green, blue, anything you want. Well, now shift A to add a new material. So basically we will add a texture, and checkered texture is just fine. So remember to press shift A to add a new material. Okay, and then connect it to the base color. You can see that it's now checker floor. Well, this tutorial is not about adding materials, so still we will add some basic materials to look cool in the final render. So for the wall also we will add a brick texture, and make the mortar size to like 0. Yeah, and you can change the color to red. Maybe white, it's just fine. Again, we'll do the same for the right side and the left side. Okay, add a brick texture, then connect it to the base layer in the base color, and then mortar size to 0. Do the same with the left wall. Remember to press shift A to add a new material with the existing one. Okay, so shift A, then select texture, and then the brick texture. Yeah. Then connect it to the base color and do the same. Okay, you can change some color. Then in the layout you can see in the camera view. If you can't see in the camera view, just press 0 on your number pad and then render the image, and you can see it looks cool, and you can see the glass very well, the glass container, and the balls are outside. Few balls are outside on the floor. So this looks cool so far. So we can render the animation. You can see Well, that looks cool. It's time to save the file so far, and we will render out the animation. So we will set the settings for that. So come to the output settings and make sure the frame rate is 24, and then change the file format to JPEG. So this will be like image sequence, and uncheck the overwrite, and then select your destination. Like I will select desktop and then make a new folder and name it. So I will name it rigid body tutorial. Well, select that folder and accept, and save again. Now in the layers properties, make sure denoising is selected, and then in the render settings, make the render value to sampling render to 200. That's good. And then save again, and then render animation. So I hope you have learned something from this tutorial. If so, please consider subscribing to this channel, and please press the bell icon so that you get notification whenever I upload a new video, and also share this video as much as you can. Thank you for watching.